a lot of the times when you're trying to be authentic, what you're putting out there and the effort you're putting in doesn't come back like financially or like successfully. So then you feel like you don't want to do that anymore.
Hi, my name is Dr. Amira Collison. I am a child and adolescent and adult psychiatrist, and today we will be talking about apathy. So what is apathy? Apathy is when you just don't really care. Nothing feels important or exciting or worth the effort. And so for a lot of people, it can look like laziness or procrastination, but it's really not that. It's really just kind of like your brain and feelings go on pause and things just feel blah. So imagine someone who used to love playing soccer or hanging out with their friends. Now they just don't have that motivation to go to practice or to respond anymore. That's what apathy can look like. So today we have a very special guest joining us. So I'm going to bring along our amazing content creator, Shu. Hi, come on in. Hi, so nice to see you. Thank you. Shu, thank you so much for being here with us. I feel very honored to hear all about your experiences. And now I want to just talk more about apathy with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right,
Let's do
okay. So apathy can mean a lot of different things to different people. And so I'd love to hear, what does apathy mean to you? What does it feel like for you?
The lights are on, but no one's home. And you want to care. And you know you should care, but you just do not have the energy for it.
Yeah.
And it's like your heart is like, yes, but your brain's like, no.
That disconnect.
I think like that's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that's a beautiful example of apathy. That lights out, just shut down.
Yeah, it's like flatness. You're not feeling anything. There's no happiness. There's no angry.
No.
There's just like nothing.
Nothing.
Flat line.
Numb. That was such a beautiful example of what apathy feels like to you. So I'm really curious, have you felt that before in your life and what triggered it?
Yeah. I think there's like 3 situations I can think of. The first one is, it happens a lot when I am working intensely on something and I burn out. Just from like continuously working project after project and putting my heart and soul into it. And then eventually you just kind of like run out of energy. And then you don't really know what you're doing or why you're doing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like when you're in that
The grind.
race.
Yeah, the rat race.
Or like the circle, the rat circle, you're just like going, like you're
Going,
doing something
doesn't stop.
really, really
Right?
fast.
Right? Where's
and
the
then
cheese?
you just like, yeah,
Somewhere.
and then just becomes a blur. And you're like, what am I doing
Yeah,
now?
I don't know.
I don't know either. And then the second thing is, what it leads into oftentimes is like when you're disappointed. Because I think as a actress, as a content creator, filmmaker, we put a lot of our emotions into our projects. It's like our heart as well as our mind. When you have a project that doesn't turn out the way you want it to, it can be really disappointing. And it's almost like a coping mechanism. And your brain just like shuts down so that disappointment turns into numbness. And your brain is saving yourself from feeling disappointment by being numb.
I'm trying to protect you from feeling that pain, from feeling that hurt, so it's safer to feel nothing.
Yes, exactly. And then the other thing is when I'm experiencing analysis paralysis.
What is that?
When I have to make a big decision. I mean, it's not like when you go to the cafe and you're ordering between coffee and tea or something. It's like when you're making a big life decision.
Decisions, okay.
And people that you care about, like your family or friends, are telling you to do one thing, but you really want to do another, even though you know they're right, and you just can't choose. Like that specifically for me is a time where I like shut down because I know I have to make a big decision, but those possibilities are so heavy and the result is so important that you end up kind of not doing anything because you'd rather feel nothing than face the pressure of getting it wrong.
So today we have a very fun and exciting game that we're going to get into of Would You Rather. And so in this game, I'm going to be asking you questions, kind of talking about apathy so we can learn more about it from your experience.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that you can also get something out of this experience as well.
I think I will.
Okay, I'm excited. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hit
Here's
me
our
with
first
it.
question.
Okay.
Would you rather make content that pleases everyone but feels fake to you, or make content that's real but gets ignored by the people you love?
Oh my God, why do I want to cry right now?
Yeah.
I really had an epiphany at the beginning of this year surrounding that, because I felt like I was making content for people, but it wasn't really something that I wanted to make, or I didn't feel like it was authentically who I was, or like me as a whole.
And so in this question, would you rather do what pleases everyone but fake to you, or make content that's real to you but you see those numbers dropping? Which one would you say that you chose in your personal life?
Okay, I think if I could only choose one, I think I would do the authentic one, because that would sustain me longer.
Yeah.
But what I've tried to do is just do both. So I created a new page called The Real Shuang.
Wow.
And it's just all of my acting stuff, all my producing stuff, this new Real Me series, I'm putting it on there. So if people want to know the real me, they can follow me there. But I'm still going to make the skits on my normal page so that, I can support myself financially. At the end of the day, I can't do any of that if I can't survive.
Yeah. It sounds like you're able to find that balance of, I'm going to do what maybe will help me keep me financially afloat, in addition to, use the word, what's going to sustain me. Making that content that's authentic to yourself. It sounds like that's what gives you that excitement.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I can't only do one or the other.
Right.
I have to do both.
Yes. Yeah. I have to have some purpose.
Purpose. Yeah, I think that's the key word right there. That purpose is what keeps you from becoming apathetic. Our next question. Would you rather make your family proud but lose your passion, or follow your passion and feel like you disappointed them?
I think, knowing myself, I would rather make the content that I'm proud of, even if it alienates my family.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Why?
I followed acting. It was a huge disappointment. I came from finance. I had a very steady,
I didn't know
well-paying finance job, and I left it to be a poor, struggling actress. So when I was working in finance full-time, I got this acting job, and it was for the first Asian Australian TV show on network TV in Australia. And it was a series regular role, which is so hard to book in Australia. And I remember I went to ask for time off to my boss to film this show. And he said, if you take this time off to do that show, you will not have a job to come back to. And he was like, you choose one or the other.
Wow.
Like, I can't have you not focus on this job. And in that moment, I realized that I do have to pick a lane. I can't keep walking both paths. Well, at the time, I had to, because I didn't really have a choice. And then when he gave me that choice and that ultimatum, I chose acting. I said, you know what? You're right. I can't defocus. I'm going to focus on acting, and if that does not work out, I have plan B.
Wow.
So that's actually that was a defining moment. My boss gave me an ultimatum.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like such a difficult but very brave decision that you made, to choose a path of fulfillment, what feels right and authentic to me and aligns with my values, despite what my boss, despite what my family thinks. Wow. How did your family respond to that?
They were not impressed at all. They always kept saying, go back to your normal job. When are you going to go back to your normal job? My mom gave me 2 years to succeed in America. She was like, after 2 years, you go do your thing, have your fun. After 2 years, you come back to that finance job.
Have your fun. So this isn't a job, that's a play.
Yeah.
Have your fun and then come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, get a stable job and live out your life the way you're meant to.
Do you think they didn't see that as a stable career option?
Well, firstly, it's very new. It's the wild, wild west. It's not something that they've ever experienced. They don't understand it, so they can't see the end result or the end goal or what it looks like to succeed in this industry. It's very new for them. It's foreign. They don't understand it, so they don't know how to help me. I think they've always wanted to be there to support me, to help me, but they can't help me if they're in an industry
scary
that
for
they
them.
don't understand. Asians are very big on family, and then getting married and having kids, and they were worried that with this industry, I wouldn't be taken seriously as a wife, that I wasn't wife material, and no one would want to settle down with me. So they were
So
worried
at the same time, you also may not meet the cultural expectations as well. And even despite all of this, you still chose to pursue your passion.
Yeah.
Would you rather post every day and lose your love for creating, or step back and risk your whole audience moving on without you? So I feel like this question is sort of getting into a little bit of burnout, right? So have you ever had a period of your life where you're posting so much and you're getting a bit tired?
Post every day or don't post and lose your followers. I think there's a nice balance where you can post like every second day and not lose your followers. I think it's more about the quality of the content you're putting out there. There was a period of time where I was just putting anything and everything out there just to post,
just to have something out there every day.
A day, exactly. Just to reward the algorithm. And then I found that that was not helpful because it meant that only one of every 5 videos would blow up.
Yeah, because what's the quality of what you're putting out when you're forcing yourself to keep going, even when you're tired, even when you're drained?
Exactly, you can't. So now I have focused on posting consistently, but only good quality content that I will look back on and be proud of.
And I heard you say the why bother when you're putting video after video after video. And when I hear that, I hear apathy, because that's how we get when we're so close to that burnout, when we're just putting out as much content as we can, or trying to chase our goals as much as we can and not giving ourselves time to waste. We can get to a point where it feels like, what is the point of this?
Yeah,
what,
when you don't see the results.
Exactly, what is the point? But you gave yourself, it sounds like in this, if you had to choose one, I love that you're talking about balance, and I want everyone to follow that. But for the purpose of this game, if you had to choose one, are you posting every day, or are you taking a break and risking losing your followers?
I think knowing the depression I went through when my follower count slowed down, I think I would choose option 1 to post every day. I know it's unhealthy, but like the depression I felt probably outweighs like the I don't know, the grind that I had to go through, and like maybe like the burnout that then created apathy.
So moving on to our next question. Would you rather have the freedom to do whatever you want, but be constantly stressed about money, or have financial security, but feel stuck in a life you don't enjoy?
Oh my, that is literally what we were just talking about just now.
There's a reason why we lead in.
Well, I think you know my answer. It's definitely the first
it.
option. I obviously would do something that I love, knowing that there was no financial stability.
So now I want to transition. That's it for the questions. So I'm curious, how do you manage apathy? If you have a toolkit, advice for young people, what do you do?
There's actually so many ways to manage apathy, and I think it's different for everyone. But one thing I like to do is give myself permission to feel nothing sometimes. It's like we put so much pressure on ourselves. Oftentimes it's like self-pressure.
I agree. I know I do that too.
Yourself. It's like no one else you're disappointing. Everyone's actually really happy with you, but you're like, on the inside you're like, no, I failed. But on the outside, everyone's like, you're doing so well. So I think it's like giving yourself permission to feel it and just be absolutely useless for a day. Sit on the couch, eat ice cream, watch your favorite TV show. Oh, that's another thing. You got to remind yourself what happiness feels like. Doing something you love and reminding yourself there are other feelings other than apathy.
I love that. And before you get into that next point, I want to go back to something you said of giving yourself permission to sit in it, right?
Yeah.
And I want to challenge the thought about giving yourself that time is useless, because it's actually not. Giving yourself time to rest is can actually you be refilling up that cup.
Yes.
Because we can't pour ourselves into things when our cup is already empty.
Correct.
And so giving yourself that time to rest, I think that can be so helpful and just refueling us when we're feeling burnt out and exhausted.